What up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to another live stream. I hope you guys are doing well. Listen, before we get started, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me perfectly fine. 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me perfectly fine. Shout out to everybody in the building. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Saturday. I hope y'all are enjoying y'all weekend. Another little quick impromptu live stream. This is not going to be a long live, y'all, but I want to address this whole Melyssa Ford situation, and then we're going to be out of here. But as you come into the building, make sure you hit the like button. Please hit the like button, y'all. Please hit the like button as you come into the building. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you like the content. Share the stream, like the stream, and turn on your notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. All right? All right. Shout out to Successful MD in the building. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Yes, support via Super Chat, Super Sticker, Cash App. Shout out to Successful MD. I appreciate you for that. Yes, please support the channel, you guys, so that we can, keep this thing going. Make sure you support the channel. Also, now I'm going to start promoting the memberships. Shout out to all of my members. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me and supporting the channel. Even though I have not been consistent on the members platform, I'm definitely going to be posting some casual videos on the membership. I'm going to be giving you guys some, more personal content where we could just kind of chit chat and talk over there. I'm going to be posting some impromptu shorts for you guys. So please join the membership. I'm going to be posting some, casual content over there for the members. So if you have not become a member, go ahead and sign up to become a member. I'm definitely going to be posting content for members only. So make sure you guys are doing that. So look out for that and also support that as well. So I'm going to definitely post some, separate content for the members. I got to give a shout out to my members because there are people who have been signed up for membership for me for quite a while, and they've been rocking with me and being patient with me. And I appreciate you guys for doing that so much. So I'm definitely going to start pouring into the members and start giving more content to my members because they deserve it, because they definitely been rocking with me. So make sure you sign up for the memberships. I'm going to be posting new content over there. Also continue to support the channel per usual. All right. So we want to have as many likes as we have people in the building. I don't care how many people we have in the building. However many people we have in the building, I want to make sure that we have that same exact amount of likes. Make sure you hit the like button. That helps the channel out. All right. So I want to get into this video. Melyssa Ford, she interviewed Charlemagne the God from the Breakfast Club. And this video is going viral. People are talking about this and, her bringing up the red pill content. And, basically, saying and showing that she's not really happy about that. And that's not a shocking thing, honestly. It's not a shocking thing that you have women who have hit the wall who don't like males, content creators or male podcasters or just men in general having a discussion about what they like and what they don't like about women and how they are moving as it relates to this modern woman and the modern woman society. And of course you have women like Melyssa Ford and others, Vivica Fox and Lisa Ray and a whole bunch of other women who have hit the wall, who are now senior citizens, who feel a certain way about men having an opinion on these modern women and what they will and will not accept. And it's only the women who have hit the wall and don't have any kids or women or single women who have a problem with men expressing their opinions and their thoughts on, modern women and how they think modern women are moving in the wrong way. Of course, they have a problem with that because they don't want to adhere to what these men are saying or listen to what they're saying. They want to do what they want to do, but they still want the outcomes that they feel and believe they should expect and the ones that they should get. And men are saying, no, you don't deserve this from me. You chose to go this way. You chose the government. You chose your careers. You chose this independent life where you said your focus was not a man. It was not family. And now that you're 50 years old, now you're reflecting on that, but you're still not taking accountability. You're still not looking at your role in it. You're still trying to push the blame onto men. So that's where we are with this. And y'all know I talk about this all the time. And and once again, when you have women like myself who speak on this, they don't like that either. You don't like to hear a logical perspective from a woman because you want all women to be a part of the sisterhood, bonnet crew society of the traveling pants. You want every woman to be a part of that group. You want every woman to be in this okay corral of just defending women at all costs. And I'm sorry, I can't really align with that because I don't believe in what they're saying. Now, once again, a lot of women like to take it to a personal realm, and they like to start taking shots at people and creating, shameful tactics to try to shame people because they don't have the same opinion. That I'm not going to do. And I'm not going to stoop to a level of women that I know are bitter and angry because they couldn't get what they wanted. I'm not going to do that because I understand the nature of women. I understand that women are just pissed. They're just bitter. They're angry because they didn't expect the outcome that they actually have. They thought that it would be something more. They thought that they could have their careers, and when they were ready to pick a man and build a family, it just was all going to be laid out for them. And now that it's not, they're bitter, but they don't want to accept that they're bitter. That's the thing. They don't want to accept the outcomes that they created. They've created it. They created it. They don't want to take any accountability for creating it. And they want men to conform to them. They want men to conform to their ideology, to their thoughts and their feelings. They want men to conform to what they believe a man should be doing for them to get their outcome. This is why I say a lot of women are entitled. They're entitled. They're entitled because they want things to go their way. And the minute things don't go their way, then they have a problem with it. And they have a problem with anybody who says anything outside of what they believe. Oh, you're a male basher. Oh, you're a woman basher. All you do is bash women. Oh, you want to hear men who gonna cater to you as opposed to being logical and tell you the truth. And that's where they are. But I'm gonna stop talking because y'all know I get to talking. But I want to get into this clip, and I definitely want you guys to chime in. So make sure you're chiming in the chat. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Make sure if you are new to the channel and you like the content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It is free to subscribe if you like what you see. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Also, hit the like button, y'all. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button as you come into the building. All right? All right. Here we go.
Everybody is projecting. Everybody's got some wound or some pain or some hurt that they felt that they haven't dealt with, and they go project that onto other people. That's why I don't get caught up in stuff like road rage, you know what I mean? Or like, I read a story the other day where this young lady held a door for someone and the woman didn't say thank you, so she went behind the woman to get her thank you. They end up in a fist fight. Then the woman ends up pulling out a gun and killing the girl in front of her 20-year-old daughter. And I'm just like, at what point did somebody not say, all right, it's not worth it. This isn't about me holding the door. This isn't about that person not saying thank you. Like, there's something else going on with both of these individuals, right? And they couldn't wait to project that pain on each other. So it's just like, humans aren't naturally just wired to hurt each other. Something happened.
Yeah.
And I think that we got to remember that about each other.
Yeah. I think you talk a lot about our algorithms being very subjective, and we can create these algorithms, and sometimes there's stuff that just kind of gets funneled to us. But I will admit that my algorithm is very specific. There's a lot of cats and dogs in there because for the, just I need the laughter and I need just, the good heartfelt moments. There's a lot of travel because I'm constantly thinking about where I want to go next and what part of the world, part of the globe I need to see. There's a lot of women empowerment stuff. But a lot of times when you do have the women empowerment part of your algorithm, a lot of the other side is going to filter itself in. And that's the gender war-y, masculinity versus femininity whole rhetoric and stuff like that. And it does start to, kind of have an effect on you. I guess it's not that I don't believe that there is a huge swath of the male population that is interested in growth and evolution and their mental health. I absolutely believe that. I think that the ones that aren't, I think that the manosphere, red pill nation podcast bros, I think that they are so much louder.
But that's the loud minority a lot of times.
And then when you see the comments, well, not only that, I mean, when you read cases like Giselle Pellicot, the woman in France,
whose
whose husband was basically renting out her body for about 10 years and drugging her in the process to where she didn't even know what was happening to her. And then this became like this massive case in France, and 51 men saw some kind of level of prosecution, but it was up.
Well, and this is another thing too, her bringing it up. And I think this is something a lot of women, certain women tend to do. What you tend to do is bring up the most salacious, negative stories that you could think of to prove a point that it's not the majority of what's happening. Yes, there are psychopaths out here, both women and men, and of all races. There are psychopaths out here who are doing crazy, dangerous things. There are dangerous people out here. We know this. We watch the news. We see what's happening. We see that there are crazy men who are deleting women. We see that there are crazy psychopaths deleting each other. We see there are crazy women out here too who are deleting men and their own children. So any story that you can think of, it's happened. It's not no one, I mean, there's stories. If you want to look up crazy people and crazy stories, they're all around us, right? You could type it in. And if that's the narrative that you want to, to want to portray or put out there, it exists. We all acknowledge that there are crazy people out here, crazy men, crazy women. But if you focus just solely on, because you hate men or you dislike men for whatever reason, you're going to find every crazy story that pertains to a man that you can find and use that as examples to prove your narrative. The same way women could do the same thing. The same way men could do the same thing. Men could pull out a whole bunch of stories of crazy psychopath women that have deleted their children, have deleted men, and went on these bizarre, crazy, crazy adventures of doing crazy stuff. We see that too. I mean, I could pull up 1,000 videos of women who have done some crazy shit. But if that's my focus, I'll pull that up all the time. But the difference is, in my opinion, is that I can pull both sides, because I'm saying, listen, it exists on both sides. There are crazy women and there are crazy men, and women outnumber men. So how do we know if there might be more crazy women than crazy men? But if your focus is only on the men, that's all you're going to show. I'm saying we got to look on both sides, because on each side it exists. But if you're trying to paint a narrative that men are the problem, that's all you're going to focus on. And the minute somebody says, okay, but there are women who do this, there are women who contribute to this horrible behavior, and women do X, Y, Z, and women are dangerous too. Oh, now it's like, oh, you're bashing women. No, because a lot of these women who have hit the wall and have not been able to have their way completely, they're bitter, in my opinion. In my opinion, I believe Melyssa Ford is bitter. I do. I believe she's gotten to this age. She doesn't have any kids, even though she said that was never a priority. That was never something that she wanted. And a lot of women say this in hindsight. And of course, when you're 20 years old and you're your most, beautiful and most fine and all of that, you're like, oh, I understand that for a lot of women, that wasn't your focus, because you've had the pick of the litter. You could choose to be with whoever you wanted to be with because you felt you had options. And you did that for years and years and years, until now you're on the other side of life, 50 years old, now no kids. She mentions perimenopause. You ain't no man in sight, no kids in sight. And now you're reevaluating life and looking at yourself saying, wait a minute now, while simultaneously making it seem like you're completely happy with your choices and your outcomes, when I know a lot of them are not. They're trying to make sense of it and trying to figure out, where do they go at this point? What trying to make sense of their lives? Because as much as women like to say, oh, we're happy. We're happy to be in our 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, and we're single and we don't have kids and we're living our best lives. We can travel. We can do this with that. Like, you could do all that with a man too. I will never understand it, you guys. I will never understand how women have believed this and they bought into this, that you can't have fun while having a man. And I said it before, the only thing that you can't do is go around and screw everybody, because you're loyal and obligated to your man. That's the only thing. You can still travel with a husband and kids. Your life is not over. And they realize, and now you're on the flip side of life. Melyssa Ford is 50 years old, if I'm not mistaken. No fam, no children, no nothing. And she's trying to make sense of this. That's what most women do at that age. They're trying to make sense of where they are. That's all. And you want to blame somebody. And the only people that you can blame is men. Well, you have to blame yourself because you didn't see this coming. And this is why it's called hitting the wall, because you hit the wall, you have nowhere else to go. Oh, I'm living my life, I'm traveling. You could have had children, you could have had a husband, a fulfilling life with all of it. This is why I say women can have it all, but you can't have it all at one time. At the same time. It takes time. It's a process. You got to build that up. There are women who have careers, have husbands, children, they have it all. But the most common way most women and men have gone about this is starting young. When they started young, they married their high school sweethearts, or they married the man that they met in their 20s, and then they had a family, and then they built careers, or they met in college. Like, there's a common theme here that nobody, well, a lot of people don't want to address and don't want to focus on because they didn't do it that way. So you can't go back and do it that way. So now you're trying to reinvent the wheel and create a different perspective, when there are some core things that allow you to have these things and make it work. But because so many women have chose the wrong way, they're trying to reinvent the wheel and try to do it a different way. And men won't allow it because men have been consistently saying what it is that they will and will not accept and what it is that they want. And they're very stern on it. And I don't think women are used to that because women are used to getting their way. Just saying. Let's continue.
To 80 men that had participated in this, and they were doctors, lawyers, grandfathers, fathers, brothers. They were all, pillars of society and members of society, professional, et cetera, et cetera.
But they was buying pussy. The problem
they were not buying pussy. They were graping.
But wasn't he selling her? I thought he was her husband or something.
She was unconscious.
Oh,
he was drugging her and renting out her body.
Got you.
Yeah,
got you.
That was wild. And so when you hear things about that, when you see the swath of men from all walks of life participating in something like that, when you hear about this group chat of like 72,000 men sharing pictures of their wives and girlfriends in an intimate manner and exchanging stories as to how to manipulate women and drug them and take advantage of them. And I mean,
listen, there's some men that you trust to bear more. Well, that shit y'all was arguing about.
Now, before we get into the bear thing, listen, it's unfortunate, and I think there's some skeezer men out here too. I think there are a lot of men out here who are just horrible. I'll admit that, of course, there are men who are out here just who don't respect women, period, who are just the most horrible men, who just don't give a damn. They don't care. They don't respect women. They're just out here trying to do the worst that they could possibly do to anybody. Yeah, they're out there. But what I'm saying, and it's not to say, oh, well, men are horrible, but what about the women? But no, we can't ignore the fact that there are horrible people on both sides in all walks of life. I don't know. This is why I say it shouldn't be a blame game. It just should be a more realistic game, a more what's really happening, and attribute certain instances to what the topic is or what your issues are. Because it seems to me like a lot of these women just want to bring up all these issues that really doesn't pertain to the nature of dating and relationships. Charlamagne is going to ask her a really good question, and I'm going to let him get to that. Then I'll pause it because I think that's important. The stories that a lot of women bring up are small instances. It's not even the majority of what's happening. This is when you hear women who say, oh, men are out here raping women and they're doing this and women should be afraid. When that is not even a large number. Now, though the number of it happening, it matters for sure. But why bring up something that is, in the minority versus what is what is the most popular thing what is really happening? Because there are women who are walking around here who are not just innately afraid of men, but they try to make it seem like men are the boogeyman, and all women are just scared. And it's not. When we see that is not the case. Women are not out here running and scared of men when they see them. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have so many women out here who are just so willy-nilly ready to jump on planes, to be flued out to strangers that they don't know nothing about, have never met in person. There are more women out here jumping on planes and going out on dates with men they've never met, never going to different states. So if the majority of women were so afraid of men, why would they be doing that? Why would you be so trusting of a man if you never met in person? You going to a place you've never been with a man, but on one hand, they're so scared. Oh my God. But then on the other hand, they're willing to do this. Like, come on now, you can't, you got to look at the overall picture. And so I don't buy it. And because I see too much. And, but they want to paint this narrative because now no man is checking for you. When you hit the wall, nobody's checking for you. You mad because you made poor choices in the past. If we really gonna keep it 100, a lot of these women have hit the wall. You don't have any other options. You're pissed about it, and you mad because men ain't take you seriously and not doing what you want them to do. You have no control over this. You have no control over these men. It's a modern society, and these men know the nature of women, so now y'all can't control them and manipulate them. But y'all always want to focus on the fact that men will manipulate women, but there are women out here who have spoken out and talked about how they manipulate men and how they take and telling women how to take advantage of men and how to manipulate them and how stupid they are. Women do the same thing. But they don't want to talk about that. Oh, it's just the men. They need the therapy. No, a lot of these crazy, batshit crazy women need therapy too. They need therapy too. They need therapy. But, oh, we can't look at that. Oh, women are just a prize and they're so great. No, they're batshit crazy, a lot of them. They need a lot of therapy. They need a lot of guidance. They need a lot of help. As I always say, it's not just the men. If the men need help, so do the women. Y'all are all in the same boat. And a lot of times these women do things following a man, and then when it don't work out for them, they pissed off and still want to blame men. Oh, my God. It doesn't make sense, baby. It really doesn't. And see, you could pull the wool over some people's eyes, but you can't pull it over all of our eyes. And I don't give a damn how much you don't like it. It's the truth. She's reevaluating her life, even though they're walking around here talking. I did a video of a lady who's 30-something years old, and she got this glaze in her eyes like, oh my God, I'm 33. I don't have any kids and I'm single. And I'm so glad that we're pushing the narrative that we don't have to be looked at as an ostracized for being single and unmarried and no kids. And I'm just so happy, but I have been single for 2 years. No shit. Oh my God. And I want a man one day. I want a husband. I want a partner. But I'm just so glad. You're so glad on one hand that society is embracing spinsters, but you still don't want to be a spinster. But if you're 30-something years old and you don't have no kids or husband, and you can travel and do all these things, and then you want a man, you're gonna be single. You're gonna be 43, then 53, and then you're gonna still be looking around like, what the hell? What happened? But they still, their brains won't allow them to accept the fact that, girl, you done messed up. You done let society trick you into believing that this is where it's at when you could have so much more. I'm here to tell you could have a husband, kids, and you could still have a career. You could still do things that you're passionate about. I don't know who lied to these women and told them this, that you got to pick one or the other. But I think, once again, only in the Black community, they do that to us. But other people, doctors, lawyers, they got husbands and they have kids. How did they do it? And why are Black women stuck? Because they're taught to go out here and be hoes. And y'all been hoes for most of y'all lives. And now you old. And now you don't have nothing else. You don't have nothing else. That's it. And there's only so much traveling and going around the world you can do. That ain't going to fulfill you. And a lot of these women have hit the wall and they're unfulfilled and they're still trying to blame somebody for it. Bottom line, I don't care how you try to flip it, smack it, rub it down. It is what it is. You're unfulfilled and it's your fault. And you don't want to acknowledge that it's your fault. You're still trying to blame it all on men. Blame it on your mothers and your grandmothers and your aunties who told y'all, don't get married. Oh no, girl, go live your life. Live your life. Take care of yourself. Go to get your degree. Don't depend on no man. Do it all by yourself. Blame them because they the ones set y'all up for failure. That's who you blame. Successful MD, thank you for the super chat. Says, it's amazing how everyone has to be accountable and responsible except for the bitter Betty Bonnet Brigade. They are overgrown kids. Exactly. You can hold men accountable, hold everybody else accountable, but when it comes to you, you can't be held accountable. It's called bashing when you tell the truth. No, it's just but that's why they're stuck, because they don't want to listen. You think you know it all. You still trying to push. See, this is what I said before. See, women think they have the power in their hands. The power that they do have, y'all done blown that. That's just done. You're all the hoes and running around here thinking that somebody owe you something. So you have no power there sexually, physically. You didn't give your sexuality. You gave your sex, your body, and all that up. Y'all over sexualized. You're turning to 304s on 304 TikTok. And you're out here just hoeing it up. So you have no power there. You have no leverage there. So you've lost that. So now you're running around here trying to create some type of power. You have no control over men. And that's what, and I said it, when men finally realize that for men who didn't know, because some men already knew this, but for the ones who realize, hold up, I got the power, I got the control over who I want to choose to marry and what I want to do. It's a wrap for these women, because you can't control the narrative. You can't make men do what you want them to do. They're saying they don't want to accept single mothers. So single mothers are struggling and wondering why men don't want them, because men said they don't want y'all. They want to create their own family. So now single mothers can't get a man to come in and simp for them and take care of their kids. They don't want women who've been ran through. Now the hoes are running around here trying to convince men that we're good women too. You should take us after we had all these things in our mouth and we let men skeet all in our face and we done been with 1,000 men on film. We're still good women. You know, we can offer something to you. We have a lot to bring to the table. I don't think so. Oh my God. They're even out here trying to convince men that they're important, and and it might be attractive women, but I don't think most men are looking to take on these hoes who've been with thousands of men doing God knows what. Oh my God. They're trying to convince y'all to take them. Aggressive, masculine women are still trying to convince men, well, I could be masculine. What that got to do with anything? Y'all are just feminine and y'all don't want us. No, they don't want you, and they don't have to accept you. And there's nothing you can do about it. This is why you have women out here crashing out and talking about trying to get rid of black men, because you can't get your way anymore. You can't control them. You can't have the simp step crash dummies of yesteryear who just come in and take on a woman with 4 kids by 4 different men and just sit there and be a dummy and raise her kids and put up with her BS. So now y'all mad because y'all thought y'all was going to be able to get what y'all saw y'all mothers had. Y'all mom was out here for the streets, but she had a man at home taking care of the bills and taking care of everything. And she was doing whatever she wanted to do. These men don't want to do that because they realize that is not the way to go. That is no benefit for them. So they learn by seeing the mistakes that the men have made before them, which is smart. That makes sense that you learn and you go a different route because you don't want to end up in this position that you saw those men end up being in. So you chose something differently. Now men are saying, nah, we're not paying your bills. We're not taking care of your kids. We don't want you that big. We don't want that ran through cooch. We're not taking you seriously. We're not marrying you, because you see what y'all do to men when they marry you. You end up divorcing them and walking away with whatever they got to offer you, and then turning the kids against the men. And you know that these men love their kids, but y'all try to make it seem like black men don't love their kids and don't take care of their kids, but y'all don't care about keeping the family intact. As women, y'all don't care about your kids having a good relationship with their fathers, because you turn the fathers against them and you walk away. So is it that the men don't like their kids, or the men don't want to or you don't even care about your kids because you don't even care about them having a good relationship with their fathers and keeping your kids mentally stable by keeping the family intact? No, because it's all about you. It's a selfish nature of a lot of these women, and that's been gone unchecked. And they still walking around here like they're queens and that a man should worship them and run behind you for what? There's nothing to worship or run behind. Y'all have proven this over and over and over that a man should not be worshiping you and running behind you for what? When you don't offer anything, you don't want to bring nothing to the table, you don't want to do it. You just want a man to be foolish and do whatever you say. And any man in his right mind shouldn't be doing that. Thank you, Successful MD. I appreciate you. So yeah, it's a lot to look at, and it involves a lot of these women, and they don't want to accept it. Irvin, thank you for the super chat. Says exactly, DeeDee. There are women willing to leave the club with dudes in the first night every weekend. So this narrative is backwards. if you ask me. It is. But once again, women can do no wrong. It's all about making them happy no matter what they do, no matter how deceptive they are, no matter how misleading, no matter how selfish they are, no matter how wrong they are, how reckless they are. It shouldn't matter because they have vaginas, and men should just do whatever they say. That's dumb. But you know, I do blame society. I blame these old mothers and some men, because there have been men who have catered to this mentality. You've catered to these women. You told these women that they could do whatever. You're a woman and you're a queen, and I'm just gonna support you, and that's what they're used to, and that's why they move like that. Thank you, C. Irvin. I appreciate you. Blue X 22329. Thank you for the super chat. Says Melyssa Ford is the same person who said all men owe women reparations for how they were treated in traditional marriages of the past off her meds. Wow, that's crazy. And see, there's a narrative that all men are the same, that all men just treat all women bad, when there are women out here who have had great relationships. You listen to some of the older grandmothers or older women who have been married for 30 and 40 and 50 years, say they had a great husband. And when their husband passed away, oh my God, they miss him. He had a great husband. He was so this and he was so that. There are a lot of women who speak very highly of their husbands, but they don't want to point that out, because y'all don't want to hear that. In fact, y'all get mad when you hear women speak highly of their husbands and their men. You know, I did a reaction to that whole video about, you know, you can't have boyfriends. Women can't have boyfriends. People don't want to, you know, deal with women who have a man, like, because y'all hate to see it. Y'all hate to see positive things when it comes to men, because you want to keep pushing this idea that all men are just horrible and y'all are just so great. And we know that's not true. That's why a lot of these women will be single and they'll stay single, because nobody don't want to deal with them. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. It's just insane. Let's continue.
The bear or the man, whatever. There's something.
If you ran into a strange man or a bear in the woods, who would you choose? 98% of women chose the bear, and men lost their ever-loving minds.
Because it is a very ridiculous thing.
But I
understand why women could feel that.
Here's the thing. If the bear kills me, that's fine. At least he didn't grape me. At least he didn't sexually assault me. At least he didn't violate my corpse.
But what if that guy is running from the bear too? And the guy's trying
it's entirely possible. And this,
how these old 304s are worried about a man assaulting you and hurting you. Y'all don't seem like they was worried about that when you was throwing that cat all over the place back in the day. In your heyday, let's ask this question back in the heyday. Are you so afraid of men? Well, how the hell you been with so many? How the hell you wasn't afraid to throw that cat all around back in the day with all these different men? What changed? Because we didn't hear the narrative that, oh, I'm so afraid. You would think that if you were so afraid of men and what they're going to do to you, you wouldn't be around so many, that you wouldn't have chosen a career that involves nothing but men. You think you would have went into hibernation and remove yourself from that type of industry and that business, which we know Melyssa Ford came from. You would think that she would have excluded herself from that. When did this phenomenon happen? At what point did you start to be afraid of men? When you got old? Because when you were young, it didn't seem like y'all were afraid. Y'all were dipping in and doing it, throwing that cat all on all these men. And also saying, you know, they was engaged at once. You know, all of these women have been engaged, but they never get married. They never keep the man. So that is pointless. But why is it? What changed? What changed? Because they didn't seem to be scared of men back then. I'm just saying. You was all up on them. Like I didn't see no fear in the eyes. Now all of a sudden, oh, men are so dangerous now. I don't, because ain't one in sight now. Ain't nothing trying to come behind you for real. So now they all scary and dangerous. Now that you old and nobody's checking for you. Just saying. I'm just saying. Let's continue. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button, y'all. We got 52 people watching from what I see here. But it looks like 80 something people watching. We only have 30 something likes. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let's continue.
I want men to really, truly understand why women have no choice but to be fearful. You have 4 daughters.
Absolutely.
I need to know what, and one of them, your oldest is, I believe, 17.
Come here, ask a question. Have you had more positive experiences with men than negative?
Good question. That's the question. Look.
That's an interesting question.
That's not interesting because you know it's the truth.
I have had extraordinarily fulfilling and have fulfilling platonic relationships with men. Absolutely.
So-
I have had not the greatest personal romantic relationships with men.
So based off that, you know that all men aren't terrible human beings.
I do know that. However, I will say this. You want to know one of the reasons why women watch all that murder, death, kill stuff, all the serial killer stuff? Because we're trying to understand what threat looks like. Because usually it's presented as somebody who's very, very normal. The BTK killer, Dennis Rader, he was a...
And once again, going to stories that are, the most salacious stories. The answer to that question is most women have not had, you have more positive experiences with men than not. That's just the truth. You deal with men every day, all day, and none of those men did you anything wrong. Yes. Are there crazy men out here who try to take advantage of women? Yes. But in the overall scope of things, most people have, when you go out and go to work and you go out and you're out in the world and you're doing what you're doing, most of the time, the majority of the times you go unscathed. You go to work, nobody ain't bothering you. You go to your job, you go to wherever you're going, and nobody is really bothering you. Will the crazies pop out? Yes. We see there are lots of examples of it. But is that the majority? No. Majority of people are civilized, both men and women. Majority of people go out here and live their lives, and you can go and not have a crazy experience with the person the majority of the times. And she knows that. That's why you got to look up and think about it and look sideways, because you know the majority of the men that you were screwing, the majority of the men that you were around, the majority of the people that you've interacted with did not harm you. That's just what it is. But once again, it's a narrative that you see a lot of people try to push to prove a point. Oh, women are so scared. I think that's a lie and a myth. Most women aren't scared. We see women who attack men. You're so scared, but you run into attack a man and do things to a man because you know if he does anything, more than likely he'll get arrested. Like, come on, like this is crazy. But once again, you mainly hear these older women who have hit the wall talk like this, and then they're training the young women to think this way too and messing them up. Because you want everybody to think like you and fall into your pattern, and then they end up regretting it with no recourse, because there's nowhere else to go after you've hit the wall. There's nowhere else to go. With that mindset, you stuck. You stuck like Chuck. You can't do anything else because nobody want to deal with people who think like that. And men for sure don't want to deal with these women who think like this, because to me, the women are more of a threat to a man when they think that way, because you thinking, independently, you thinking like men are a threat, men are a problem in mass, and you're teaching others to think that way too. And so they will start. This is where you find women who create these narratives and try to create situations where, they're pushing that onto a man. A man could not even be doing you nothing, but because you think like that, and that's the only thing that you subscribe to, you start making shit up. Start saying, "Oh, these men are. I was afraid of him, and he's going to threaten me, or he's going to do this, even though he hasn't done you anything." This is how they think, and I think that rhetoric is more dangerous than any man walking, because you're assuming that somebody's going to do something to you that they haven't done. So you accuse them of things and make it worse for men who are really just minding their business. So I think that is more dangerous than anything, in my opinion. Let's continue.
Pillar of his community. He was an active member of his church. John Wayne Gacy, same thing. Like the evil.
But why they don't ever do the positive stories? Meaning, like, because all of this, I'm not saying it's not true, because it's definitely true, but propaganda works both ways. Mm-hmm. If there was a network that showed us, these great men who did right by women and, protected women and held women down, your perspective wouldn't lean so much to, men ain't shit, I gotta go with the bear.
No, trust me. I place in my algorithm men that I know there's a guy named Will Hitchens online. There is this podcast. It's these 4 young Black boys. I can't remember what the podcast is called right now, but I mean,
you're talking about
it starts with a J.
Jamming?
Yes.
Yes.
They're
from Chicago, I think.
I love them.
Mm-hmm.
I love them because it's just, they take men and brosphere and red pillars to task, and their rhetoric is so respectful towards women, and they just have so much common sense for being so young. So
and I think what happens is these types of women, you're going to gravitate to the things that make you feel comfortable. You don't want to hear red pill podcasters speak because they speak to the real truth of it all, the nitty gritty of it. They speak to what's actually happening and they make no apologies for it. You want somebody who's going to sugarcoat things and make you feel good and not really tell the full truth about what it is. And I don't think that, it has to be a drag race towards women or men. But see, the problem that I see in that is there are a lot of women who actually drag men, could talk as salacious and drag men as much as they want. And no woman stands up and says, not now, you don't have to do that. Why don't you talk respectfully about Black men and, get your point across of what you think and what you feel? Because, we feel stuff. But you don't have to drag them and put them down. Most women don't speak to that. You could talk about a man however you want, talk about their bullet bags and talk about them as harshly and as disrespectfully as you want to, and nobody push back. But when it comes to men that's why men are tired and they're like, no, we ain't giving y'all no grace. Look how y'all talked about us. Hold on, y'all. But yeah, so women could say whatever they want about a man, right? But a man can't say anything about y'all. And that's the problem. That's the one-sidedness of it all. And I just think men are tired. Men are like, no, why should we have all this, grace for y'all when y'all have none for us? If you could say anything you want about a Black man and nobody bats an eye. But as soon as you have an opinion about a Black woman, oh, y'all bashing women. Y'all don't respect women. Y'all hate y'all mamas. But then you listen to the stuff that women say about men, and it's okay. Nobody says, you know what? Well, if we want them to respect us, we should respect them. And that's the one-sidedness of it all. And this is why men don't care anymore. They don't care anymore because they've heard it all. As long as women had the mics and were saying all these negative things about men and just generalizing all Black men, all bets were off when men decided, you know what, to hell with this. I'm not going to just lay down and take this, and we're going to listen to what y'all say and we're going to move accordingly. Now that men are moving accordingly, now women are still pissed and mad. Y'all said Black men should be bullet bags and y'all could just do away with them. We don't care. Y'all said y'all would prefer the white man. All these things. And nobody says, dang, that's so harsh toward men. Oh, even other men have kind of this like, oh, because men ain't this and these niggas need to learn. Yeah, there's some men that need to learn. There's a lot of men that, don't get it right, for sure. But that still don't excuse all of the women who are just bashing men and feel this way about every Black man. They're not separating it. They're focused on and putting all Black men in this category, like all of them are trash. And that's just what it is. And as soon as men start responding to this and acting accordingly and having an opinion on it, oh my God, this red pill is horrible and this and that and this and that. Like, come on, like y'all, the stuff that y'all say isn't horrible. It's a one-sided thing. And I just think that's where it needs to change. If you want respect from men, you got to give it. You can't just expect men to just keep laying down and taking all of this and taking it. And then you still want them to kiss your ass and still run behind you and still just treat you like these queens and princesses. Y'all just talk to them crazy, disrespect them, treat them horribly, say whatever you want about them and laugh and joke about it, but you still want them to take you seriously and bring you all their money and do all these things. And then wonder why when men get money, they go run to a different race of a woman. Or try to go somewhere else to find other women after all the stuff y'all done said about them. You think they've forgotten that? No, y'all. It's like you throw the dirt and then you hide your hand and act like who did that? We didn't. What? And then act like who said that? What? Why they? And then act like y'all are oblivious to y'all nature and what y'all said and what y'all done. That's not cool. That's not cool. And you think men are stupid? And I said this probably 2 years ago. Women think men are dumb. What they thought. Now they know better. Y'all just look at men as Black men like, oh, they don't really know nothing. We could tell them anything, whatever. And they still gonna be loyal to us. No, now that men are not playing this loyal game with these women, they don't know what to do with themselves. They're lost. And now they don't know what to do. So the only thing you can do is continue to try to bash them and make them look bad. And that ain't working. It ain't working. It's not working. So they don't know what else to do. Successful MD says, DeeDee, your assessment is spot on. I don't think I'm not perfect at all, but they overly damage from self-inflicted wounds. I'll send you the proof. Well, yes, of course. It's like, yeah. You're doing it to yourself, but you're still trying to blame somebody else. That's where being accountable is lost. No accountability whatsoever. Is that the being entitled? That has a lot to do with it. You can being not being self-aware or just not wanting to take accountability for your actions. A lot of times they know what they're doing. They just want to keep getting away with it. You just want to keep getting away with it. That's it. Thank you, Successful MD. I appreciate you. Vel Cap, what is it? Vel Capitan. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just ridiculous, but let's continue.
Follow them. I follow Deontay Kyle. I definitely have an algorithm full of men that are, that are allies to women. But I will also find myself in the comment section of certain things, and it's just, it's very polarizing, and it pulls you. And especially, I've had my own experiences of being around a certain type of a certain group of men who exhibit groupthink, and that groupthink tends to lean very misogynistically. So it has an effect on you, as somebody who's just kind of like absorbing it, simply just because I'm a woman and I'm the woman in the room kind of thing. It's just.
I listen, are there fuck boys out here? Yes, but I still believe in the circle of trust of humans. And I believe that the shooting percentage when it comes to the circle of trust of humans is still very, very high in spite of all the bullshit. And what do I mean by that? We wake up every day, every single one of us, and we trust that we're not gonna go crazy. I don't know none of these people in this room, but one of these motherfuckers could go crazy and fuck up the whole day for everybody. You could go to freaking Dunkin' Donuts and order a coffee, and it's that one person in the back who might decide, I'm gonna put some fucking, fentanyl or arson in her shit. Or you might get in the car with the Uber driver and that person decided to run off the road. My point is, we don't think about that type of stuff. You don't go into Dunkin' Donuts and think somebody's gonna put arson into your fucking drink. You don't order the Uber and jump in the car and think this person's gonna run me off the highway. You don't walk in rooms with perfect strangers and be like, okay, who's gonna be the person that shoots this shit up? So there's a circle of trust that exists amongst humans. And in spite of all of the bullshit, we do pretty good at making sure that all of us are safe and protected. So I can't base everything off, just the bullshit. Now, do I, raise my daughters with that mentality? Yes, but I also let them know to be aware. Just like right now, I'm aware. I wouldn't walk in here with my own shooter if I wasn't aware. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the mentality you have to have. It's the reason we have life insurance. Like, you have to be prepared. You don't want these things to happen. You're not even expecting these things to happen. You're just, I guess, prepared if they do. But imagine if we had to wake up every day and just not trust anybody.
I mean, that would be really isolating. But
you're kind of doing that with the men.
No.
You started it off by saying, fuck niggas, get money. That's basically what you said. You was like, I don't want to be with nobody.
No, it's not that. I'll be completely honest. It has nothing to do with me not wanting to be with anybody right now at this particular stage of my life because of this massive career transition and spiritual transition. I'm having what I now understand is a spiritual awakening. And it has been so powerful that I don't think anybody needs to be there at this moment. I need to be.
It's not powerful. This is that Oprah Winfrey talk. That ain't nothing powerful about none of that shit. It's an eye-opening experience that you're 50 years old, or however old she is, and this is not just her. It's an eye-opener to reality and of the time that you've wasted and the mistakes that you've made. That's all it is. They try to turn this stuff into, it's so powerful. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's not powerful. It's you realizing your mistakes and the time that you wasted. And now you bitter about it. Like, I'm so tired of this aha moment BS, this Oprah Winfrey stuff that these people have adopted that, oh my God, it's so enlightening and so powerful. Ain't nothing really. Look, let's be real about it. Ain't nothing powerful about that. You ain't getting no power. It's not giving you no wings to fly. That's a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of foolish talk. Be real. You're realizing the mistakes that you made. You realize you wasted time. You realize you could have had a better situation. You realize that all this BS that you out here trying to spew and make people believe is of nothing but a bunch of BS. That's all, without really saying it. It ain't no aha moment. It's none of that. It's all that's a bunch of BS. Reality didn't set in because you're older. You didn't have this mentality when you was in your 20s because you was out there busting it open and doing whatever you wanted to do, feeling empowered, like you had the world, you know, you had the whole world at your feet and you could do what you want, and what you chose to do didn't really yield you any benefit. Being out there, being promiscuous with this one and that one, thinking that you got all these men and you could choose better and better and better and better till you had nothing to choose from. And now you have to accept your fate and the reality of the and the consequences of your choices, that now you're older and that's just it. You're closer to life being over more than ever because you're older, and nobody is, it ain't that you got all these options and these choices. You ran out of options and choices for the type of man that you want because those men don't take you seriously. That's all that is. They trying to make this turn into some powerful power trip. Child, it ain't none of that. It is just reality sinking in. It's reality sinking in. That's it. There's nothing powerful about you realizing you done hit the wall and you made some poor choices in life. And now these are the consequences. And now you're trying to grapple with the idea that, dang, I thought I could have my fun in my 20s. I thought I had all these, I thought I would be married to a rich man by now and have 2-3 kids and I could still have my career. I thought that I would have it made in the shade. I thought that I had all this time. I thought that I would stay young and beautiful forever. I thought that I had so much. I thought my career would be further ahead. You think all this because they set you up for failure. You allow society, the sisterhood, bonnet crew of the traveling pants, set you up for failure, make you think that you had all this time and that you'll be able to get it together, that you could go out and have all this fun, promiscuous fun. And then when you were ready, you would pick the man of your dreams with all the money in the world. And you'll be living in a big mansion and a yacht, and you still have your career and kids. And you thought you could have it all, but you didn't realize that you were going about it the wrong way. That's it. That's what you realize. You realize somebody say ran through. You realize you've been ran through, and men don't really take women seriously who've been ran through like that. These women have been these video vixens back in the day and doing whatever they was doing, and it didn't pan out. Just be honest. That's all I'm saying. Be honest about it. Maybe you could be more at peace. At least you could have peace about it and move on and not feel bad about it, because openly they try to make you think it's some type of empowerment move or whatever, but secretly they feel bad about it because you got to deal with yourself now. You got to deal with the aftermath of the choices that you made and where you are. That lady who passed away, she said it best. I forget her name. She said it at the end of her life. She said she didn't realize that she was the problem until she was an old lady. Rest in peace to her. I forgot her name. But she said it when there was nobody else to blame. When you got to sit there with yourself and look over your life and look over the mistakes that you made, you got to accept the fact that it was you. You caused your own issues, and you didn't think about it because you thought you could get past it and everything was going to just be gravy. And then when it wasn't, now you got to reflect and deflect and try to have some semblance of peace and acknowledgement to all of that. And that's a difficult thing to do when you realize, damn, this is not the way I thought my life would be. You hear a lot of women. There are some women who are honest about it, and then others are in denial. And this is just a denial and a way to kind of deal with where you are in life. Because as much as these women try to tell you they're so happy and this traveling, all this traveling is not helping you deal with your issues. You're just traveling. Your issues are still there. And you can blame others all you want, but at the end of the day, you got to look at yourself. That's just what it is. Jamil, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Melyssa is a mean girl and she thought men would kiss her ass forever, but the tide has turned. Oh my God. I agree, Jamil. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the support. I agree. I really do. And now they gotta deal with it. And so they're trying to create this BS power type, whatever, all this stuff to try to, as a coping mechanism, to cope with where they are, because they're not truly happy with where they are. And I don't buy that all these careers and all this stuff is making you so happy. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. Let's continue.
I need to be here with myself and integrating everything that I've learned, in a very short amount of time, especially at the retreat that I went to in Mexico. I'm at a point in my life where so much new information is being downloaded from source. I don't have anything to give to anybody right now because I'm still receiving. And that's literally it. Like, do I have hope or a belief that there's the imperfectly perfect one out there for me? The source knows. I don't. I trust that they've got my best interests. But I don't think that I put a whole lot of importance on that. And I'll tell you why. I think that after a certain age, read perimenopause, women start to really take stock of their life. And I think also in this decade of life, the 40s, you really start to think about the meaning of life and also how meaningful your life is, and changes that you want to make, because also you're thinking about legacy and, and just what impact or what which mark you want to leave on people, the world, whatever the case is. But I think what also happens to women at this point in time, because we are conditioned to be such people pleasers, and conditioned to center men. Everything else about our lives is accessory. The goal is to get a man, get claimed by a man. And by the time you hit this decade of life, women start looking around and be like, what did that get me? And not to say that there's not women who are like in very happy relationships and happy marriages and stuff like that. I'm pushing that aside. Let's just say that you're in my particular situation, or let's just say that you've been in a long-term marriage and haven't been happy for a really, really long time, and you think that the best thing would be to split apart. Women are in this decade, we start to really kind of analyze, what does life look like when we decenter men? And I want men to understand that does not mean that we don't love you or want to have you in our lives, but it's just this, it's radical self-acceptance. And the world and society teaches women to never accept yourself, that there's always room for improvement. That's why the self-help section of bookstores are mainly geared towards us. For you guys, it's get rich, get fit, for the most part.
Yeah, it's geared towards y'all because women buy things. And women are the ones who have the most issues mentally. That's why. Because they know that women are confused. The powers that be know that women are the most confused. They know y'all are wishy-washy. You go back and forth. You want one thing and then it changes. That's why all the self-books are geared toward women, because women are batshit crazy and you need the help. Come on. Women are the only ones who are in denial and don't realize that y'all are the ones that need the help. That's why. Because you gonna buy it. They know y'all was gonna be struggling. When they told you to walk away from your man, you don't need a man. They knew that this was gonna come with some psychological issues. So another way to capitalize off of y'all, because they know you gonna need it. When you're out here by your lonesome and you're 50 years old and you're sitting back talking about, you realize you don't need a man. No, y'all realize it's gonna set in that you are by yourself. Because the thing about it is, I personally, in my own personal opinion, don't believe that we were meant to be separate. I think we were designed for each other. And when you go against that, it causes some type of psychological issues. That's why they make the self-help books. They knew you were going to need it. And then these people go into this higher power and all these excuses as to why they're so excited being by themselves. You gonna walk away from your life and think, I was so accomplished. I was a hoe in the back in the day, and then I transformed, and now I'm a podcaster, and I did so much, and I have so many friends, and I contributed. But the things that have the most meaning is family, in my opinion. You haven't established a family. You were created to do so, be fruitful and multiply. People want to talk about this higher power and the Bible and God. The one thing it said in that Bible was to be fruitful and multiply. That's why we're created the way we're created. And people like to push back against that because people want to go against, what we're really meant here to do. And so you do everything except that. And then you make excuses as to why it's okay. But no, you're designed. Women and men are designed to be together. No matter how people try to change that and change biology and change all of these things. No, we're here for a purpose. Our bodies are designed for a purpose, and they're designed this way for a reason. And you go against nature, you go against all of the things that we were meant to be, and then you create all these other things and think that you're going to be fulfilled, and you're not. Bottom line, a lot of women are not. This is why they need to read all these books and have all these group meetings and group think and go meet with the girlfriends and kumbaya and tell each other everything is going to be all right. If y'all so happy, why is it? And then they all turn Christian at the end. Everybody becomes Christian and holy at the end when you ain't done a Christian holy thing your whole life. None of that matter. Why do you have to wait till you're 50 years old or older to start realizing what's important and focus on yourself? Like, why you have to wait till you that shows you it's a lot of mental disturbances going on with a lot of women, and they're confused. And they're only moving in a way that they think is right, and then just to end up realizing, damn, there's still something there wrong with that. Like, and it's because women are going against their own nature, and you're trying to make something into something that's just not going to work. And they think decentering men is the end all be all. Oh, you don't need a man because we can do it all. We can take care of ourselves. But y'all still looking for a man. Every time I hear all these older women talk, they say, "Oh well, I haven't." Especially the ones who hit the wall and don't have a husband, don't have no children, nothing, don't have a relationship, don't have nothing. All they have is their career. They all say the same thing. Oh, well, I haven't found the right one. And maybe there is somebody out there, you know. And I love Maya. Maya said something similar. She still look good. She's performing. She looks great, like her music. But when it comes to the personal aspect of life, they all say the same thing. Oh, I haven't found anyone at this age. And, you know, now they're going through menopause, perimenopause. And now you realize that, oh, my God, I ain't going to be able to give a man the one thing that he might want is a kid. Can't give him children. That's all. That's gonna be done with. So what's your purpose now? Because I think women go through these phases. When you get to that point where you see being able to have kids, but you just don't want them is one thing. But getting to an age where you know you're not gonna be able to have none, and you don't have no choice over that is another. There comes a level of depression that's associated with that, because now you got to grapple with, damn, I'm really getting old. I can't have kids. I might meet a guy. What if he want a kid? I can't give him a child. You've missed that window. And so there's a level of depression that's associated with that too. So you got to go get some therapy for that too. Like, how do I cope with this? I can't have kids anymore. How do I do this? If I meet, you know what I mean? As much as you want to decenter men and you want to push that out your mind, a man is still creeping up in your mind. The possibilities of having one and building something is always there. No matter how you try to decenter, get rid of it, the possibility of it is always there. I don't give a damn what no woman say. Listen, I've seen too much. I'm sorry. That's my opinion, and it's what I believe, and I'm sticking with it. And I'm not trying to change their mind. That's what you think. I just don't agree with it. Everybody has their opinion. You can't change their mind, and I'm not trying to. I just don't agree with it. I think women are full of shit. I think a lot of women know deep down they would have loved. If they could go back, they know they would have done it differently. But you can't go back, and now you stuck with the choices that you made. That's just what it is. I don't care how you try to smack it, flip it, rub it down, turn it into what you want to turn it into. It is what it is. And if you can find peace in it, because that's all you can do at this point, try to find peace within yourself and accept the consequences of your choices and your actions. I think that's a great way to go about it, because there's nothing else that you can do. Find your peace. Be happy with your life. Live your life to the fullest, the rest of the life that you have. I'm all for that. But what my pushback is the trying to change it into something that is not, and being in denial. It doesn't help. It's only going to make you more bitter and more confused. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Successful MD says, imagine spending your life running from yourself. Oh my God. That's crazy. You ought to be tired. Successful MD, running from yourself your whole life. You ought to be tired. Hit the like button, y'all. Please hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. Thank you, Successful MD. Jontel says, it's easy to spot the ones that are full of ish because they always intellectualize themselves, and they sound like they're giving a dissertation. Exactly. That's what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even get my words out. This is disturbing, Jontel. That works my nerves, because you are absolutely right. Superhead does it too. Now she's known for being a superhead, and now all of a sudden, now y'all want to be so intellectual and so smart. Why weren't you smart back then? Why did you name yourself super? Like, why? You know what I'm saying? It's like you get old and you hit the wall, and now you're so, intellectual, and now you all want to sound profound. And oh my God, the people upstairs are just sending messages to my brain, and I'm just overwhelmed with all this knowledge. And oh my God, it's just captivating me, and I'm just taking it all in from the powers that be upstairs. And the Bonnet Crew Sisterhood Society has just been such an awakening tool for me to just learn and grow and get. And Tia Mowry does it too. And it's just annoying because it's like, y'all so profound now that you hit the wall. Why couldn't you have learned this before? Why did you make so many mistakes? If you like, come on, you're supposed to learn and grow. As you grow, you learn. But y'all are so smart and you still dumb. I'm just saying. Thank you, Jontel. I appreciate you. It's just crazy to me. Rage King, what's going on? Just wanted to say hi. What's going on? How are you? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Rage King Leo TV, shout out to you. Yeah, it's just like crazy. It's crazy. Like, it's just, and I'm just saying, maybe these young girls will look at that. Hopefully they don't. And they see it as something profound. No, I'm old enough to know, like, they're full of shit. I'm just saying. I'm old enough to know that that this is a bunch of BS. Rage King Leo, again, thank you for the super chat, says they just washed up 304s. Nobody checking for them. Exactly. And that's why they don't like the red pill space, because that's how the red pill space talk. And they're just honest about it, and they're straightforward. They're not, all doing all this foolishness and going around the block and going around circles. They're just saying, listen, we know what your history is about, and we want no parts of it. And they're over there trying to make what they're saying sound intellectual and so smart and awakening and so powerful. None of that, what they're saying, is intellectual, powerful, or nothing. Just be real about it. You made some poor choices in the past, and now you're dealing with them, and you're just gonna live your life. And that's that. I can respect that. Thank you once again for the super chat. Jontel says, the big crash out comes when their parents are gone. Oh, wow. It's easy to play reindeer games while they're alive, but once they're gone, loneliness kicks in. You're probably right. You know what I mean? Because now you've probably feel, and that's unfortunate, you know what I mean? But probably feel lost and probably feel like they have nobody for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate. Your parents are gone. You don't have a man. You don't have kids. It's like, as much as people try to minimize that, I don't want to minimize that. I think family is important. I think the family unit is hella important. I think that should be at the top priority of your list. And we keep seeing women who are trying to put that at the bottom, trying to put men at the back, when I think family should be at the forefront. I really do. I think that is one of the most important things that you could have in your life, because it's so much more than career. It's so much more than money. It's so much more than all of these things. It's the one thing that money can't buy. Money can't buy you love from your kids. Money can't buy you the experiences that you have with your children and their growth, and having that experience with your family and your husbands and building a life. I don't care how boring or how minuscule people try to make it. I think it's at the top of the list for what makes your life great. Now, you can incorporate other things, but I think it should be at the top of the list. I don't care what nobody say. I think this new society in this world is trying to force and push something else. And I think that is the problem that we have. It's one of the main reasons why we see this single mother epidemic, and we see these kids out here just going crazy and just doing whatever. It's because the family structure is lost. They're not promoting healthy, stable families anymore. They're pushing this independent narrative where women and men don't want to have kids. They don't want to build families. I think that is at the core of why we're having so many issues. And it's not cool now to have a man and want to build a family, because they're trying to push this idea that being single, being unto yourself, having your own independent autonomy and not focusing on a man shouldn't be at the focus. And that means if you're not focused on a man, you're not focused on a family. The two go hand in hand. This is why you see older broads who have hit the wall who are single and childless. And that's the way they want it to be. So you want to be this single, independent woman for the rest of your life, taking care of yourself, being by yourself, depending on friendships to get you through. And then when all of that is lost and gone and you're left with yourself, how do you feel then? And this is what they're trying to grapple with. Thank you, Jontel. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Liddell Jefferson, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. I appreciate you. Say as long as they had the mic. Right. I get what you're saying. As long as they had the mic, it's okay. As soon as men had an opinion and had something to say, oh, all hell broke loose. Like, oh my God, like we don't want to hear what they got to say. They're bashing us and they're unrealistic. No, they've never had a say. Men have always been silent or had to go deal with their issues unto themselves or whatever. Women have always had the floor to say what they thought, give their feelings and opinions and everything else. And just because now men are speaking and they have something to say, they don't want to hear it. So yeah, it's just a hot mess. And I really do think that women are the ones who have to make the most changes. I'll say that, and I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. No, I think they need to make the most changes. Do I think women are just horrible creatures? No. Do I think all women are lost? No. But I think the ones that are need to make some changes. And it's the way they think, the mentality of a lot of women is part of the reason why relationships fail. It's not just the men. Thank you, Liddell. I appreciate you so much. Iselle Kenny, thank you so much for the super chat. Says attractive women have turned down more good men than less attractive women. That's why their man-hating crap is BS. Let me read that again. Attractive women have turned down more good men than less attractive women. Exactly. That's why their man-hating crap is BS. Exactly. Because they think they have the pick of the litter. They think that they have all of these options, and they really don't. And they don't realize that until they've hit the wall. Till they're 40, 50, 60 years old, and they realize, damn, I was the ish back then, and I had all the pick of the litter, and I ain't got no options. So they're trying to grapple with that as well. Like, damn, how come from being this, I was the it girl, and now ain't nobody trying to be with me. And why I don't have my millionaire man? They thought that they were so attractive. Once again, they thought they had time, and they thought they had all these options, and they really didn't have it. And now they realize it, now that it's too late. Thank you, Iselle, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Latrell, thank you for the super chat. Says stupidity is infinitely more fascinating than intelligence. Intelligence has its limits while stupidity has none. Exactly. And that's what we see on a daily basis, for real, for real. Thank you, Latrell M, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Let's continue, you guys.
But for us, it's like, you're imperfect, change everything.
You know what's so crazy? I know so many men that are in their 40s right now who sound just like that. Like literally, like they want a wife. Mm-hmm. Like they want to have kids. Like they're looking at, somebody like myself or somebody like Andrew, and they're like, damn, and I shouldn't even have said that because it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like friends of ours that are like, they want to be married, they want to have kids, they want to have the family. And I know a lot of guys that are like that in this moment. So I think that society would be a better place if men would express that.
I think
you know what
so
I'm saying?
Too.
If men would talk about how, man, I don't want to be 45 years old, 46, 47 years old and not have a woman and not have a family. Like I want that. I think if men would have that conversation, men and women would stop missing each other.
But there are men who have that conversation. There are men who say they would love to be married and have a family, but the options that they have is not there. It's the women who are more uncooperative because women are saying, hey, we don't want a man who make $40,000, $50,000 a year. It's about the money for the women. So that to men, that's a clear, you're clearly telling men in that range that we don't want you. So what are they supposed to do? If they want wives and they want families, but these women are uncooperative and they're saying, hey, I don't want a man because he doesn't make more than what I make, then you're isolating a whole group of men who would want marriage and would want families. But so what other recourse do these men have but to go out and try to seek women who would be cooperative and would be willing to accept them and build with them? These women don't want to build. They tell you every single day, we don't want to go 50-50. We don't want to build with no busted and dusty men. We don't want this. So what are they supposed to do? What other recourse do the men have? They're not running behind these women, and you can go out and once again, it doesn't benefit a man, in my opinion, to go out and try to level up as these women want them to do to these women's standards, when these women still don't want to have any standards or bring anything to the table for the men they say they want. So even if you do level up and make the money that they want, these women are still combative. They're still independent boss chicks. They're not going to change, and they're not going to do nothing for you. You got to accept them the way they are. It's a whole lot that's built into this. You know, these women, especially successful women, they tell you, hey, I don't want a bus driver. Remember that? Oh, I don't want a bus driver. What's wrong with a nice guy that's a bus driver? If he's a good man and he wants to commit to you and he want to build with you, what's wrong with a bus driver? Like you just won't date him simply because he's a bus driver. That's a problem. Oh, he got to own the bus. Okay, own the bus. Now, okay. Now you find a man who owns the bus, right? What other factors are you looking for? Is he a loyal man? Is he want to be with you? Does he want to be committed? Does he want to build with you? Does he want to create a family with you? Is he a nice guy? Is he a jerk? What's his personality? What you still gonna find holes in your logic. Well, it ain't logic. It's just your stupidity. Like him owning the bus line or whatever is not going to make him a perfect candidate for a relationship. So what else are you looking for in a man? It's so stupid, y'all. It doesn't make any sense. And you just see this over and over. It doesn't make any sense. So he owned the bus, right? But what else? It's not like that's the only thing you want, right? There are other factors that you're going to be looking for in a man than just that. So why is that? If you make good money, then you should be looking for qualities in a man that supersedes money. But for a lot of these women, money is the end all be all. Money is at the top of the list. But then when you start asking questions and asking other things about them, you realize there's other things that you don't like about them as well. But your focus is just on the money. I don't understand. Like it, and we need money to live. But he's a bus driver. He makes money. And from what I hear, there are bus drivers who make really good money. But so morals, values, other things like what? It's something ain't right, y'all. Something is lost in the sauce. I'm so serious. Something is lost. Something is lost. Really, something ain't right, y'all. Something. Latrell, thank you for the super chat. Says Diane Carroll. Yes. Diane Carroll said it. And thank you, Liddell, once again for your support. Diane Carroll, yes, Liddell. She said it, and I'll never forget it. What she said. She was like, she was an old lady when she realized the problem was her. She said it before she passed away. Diane Carroll was a beautiful woman. Even in her older age, I thought she was beautiful. Beautiful. You go look at pictures of her back, and she's been married, had been married several times, and all of those relationships failed. And she realized that the problem was her. She kept blaming it on men, and the only men till there was no man in sight. And then she realized, oh my God, I was the problem. Because see, when you get older, you by yourself, you got time to sit down and think and reevaluate some things because it's just you. Usually when you have a husband and you have a family, your time is, your time is spread out. You got to focus on your kids. You got to focus on your relationship, your family life, and all these things. So you got a lot to do when you have a family. When it's just you, and you don't have nobody else taking your time. You gonna sit down and reflect, and that's what a lot of these women are doing. You want to reflect on your life and look at the choices you made, the mistakes you made. You're going to look at it all because you got time to do that now. And a lot of times these women come out depressed because they realize, damn, I met a guy that was nice. He really liked me. I should have went with him, but you didn't. You start reflecting, and that could, like I say, it could really take a toll on you. It could really cause you to be more depressed because you realize where you made the mistakes at. This is why they like to travel a lot. This is why you don't like to have time to yourself. You like to always be preoccupied. You always you got to keep doing this. You got to keep doing something because to take your mind off of what's real. You got to have something to replace your thoughts, because you'll lose your mind thinking about, damn, I could have had a child, at least one, or I could have had this, or I could have had that. You know what I'm saying? And your career is not the only thing that's going to satisfy you and sustain you. It's not. That's why they always talking about it and always trying to make excuses for it, because you know deep down you miss something. Thank you, Liddell. I appreciate you. Diane Carroll. Yep. Let's continue.
I trust me. Am I judgmental? Yeah, I'm the judgmental person that looks at a man and be like, why you ain't got no kids, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Why you ain't married at 40-something years old? Like, why, you know what I'm saying? You 50-something.
Are you okay with the fact that some people this isn't that, it's not that lifetime for marriage and kids?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I'm the judgmental church lady. I'm just wondering, like, why is that person, why?
Do you think that there's different reasons as to why a woman wouldn't end up married with children and a man not ending up married with children?
A lot of women make the choice, and I can't speak for women. I'm just telling you from what I've heard. A lot of women make the choice because they choose their careers.
Exactly.
A lot of women have been scorned, right? They've been with a guy and they thought that this guy was the one, and they thought that they were going to get married, and it didn't work out, and so now it's just like fuck men for life, mm-hmm. right? And then some are just like, I never wanted to. I've heard like that's something I've been hearing Maya say, and I got a couple of women in my life. They're like, I never wanted to get married. I never wanted kids.
You know how much courage it takes a woman to actually admit that out loud?
Mm-hmm.
Society judges the shit out of us for that. But going back to men, and they're wanting.
Yeah, because they don't believe you. And because most of these women were engaged when they were young and they turned it down. They say they weren't ready. Was it that you never wanted it, or you just wasn't ready at the time because you thought you had more options? Or you bought into a narrative that made you believe that you didn't need it, that having this career life and independent life would seem more tangible and more something that you thought it was better. You thought, because the thing of it is, and I grew up me and Melyssa Ford are just around the same age. So she, we grew up in a time where they told us we didn't need men, and we could be independent and we could take care of ourselves. Don't depend on a man. So yeah, so you wouldn't be focused on, a man. Hell, when I was a teenager, I was like, I don't want no man. I don't want to be married, or I didn't say married. I think I said I didn't want any kids at one point when I was young. I was a child, but that mindset was there. Like, oh, I don't want no kids. You think about being a career woman. You think about having your own business or having a career and all this kind of stuff. A lot of young women thought like that because that's what they were pushing. And that's what you were told. Don't focus on a man. You don't need a man. You could do it all by yourself and go and get your education and get your own job and get your own this and get your own that. So a lot of us grew up with that mentality, and some of it just stuck. You think, and you looked at marriage, as a issue, as a man just having control over you. So I'm not surprised that a lot of women, when they were younger, they thought, oh, they didn't want marriage or they didn't want kids, but they realized at some point they did, but it was too entrenched and too ingrained in you to think outside of that. And then it becomes, oh, I got to have my career, I have my freedoms, and when I get married, I have no freedom. Which being married only means that you don't have freedom to sleep with everybody. And when these women are out here trying to build a career, and if we're gonna keep it real, a part of that ends up being a part of their career, where you end up sleeping your way to the top. A lot of women don't want to be attached to a man because when you're in that type of career or you're building a career, it gets in the way. Because especially if you are an attractive woman, you're gonna meet men who can make or break your careers or build a career for you. And the way a lot of women get there is because they sleep with those men. And we know it to be true. And this is the part that a lot of women don't want to talk about. Getting out here in these careers and all that, women are vulnerable to a degree, but a lot of these women understand. They understand it then. When you're trying to chase your career and do all of this, you know that what is keeping you from getting to that next level is a man. And this is what they don't like, because these men are in control of these positions, and these men can make or break your career. This is what's involved in the music business. A lot of these men use that as leverage to, get these women. And some of these women know exactly what it is, and they go into it understanding that, and they play right into it. So this is why when I hear women talk about, oh, I got it out the mud by myself. No, you didn't. There was some man that helped you get to that level, gave you the money or whatever. You used what you got to get what you wanted, and you were all for it to get what you want to build you up. So this is the part they don't say out loud, is that, yeah, you knew that if you slept with such and such, he could move you up. You know, if you gave it to this man, he would give you what you, because, you know, men, if he like you and they want to be with you, he got some money, he probably give you some money, or he'll help you with this and help you with that, help you get certain things. It's always centered, you know, beautiful women and money and a man and sex, all of that go hand in hand. Come on now. So this is why they end up having a disdain for men, because you know what you did to get to where you were. And then once all of that is over, and now you can no longer benefit off of that, your beauty and all of that, and use men, now you're mad. And now all of a sudden you hate men because now you can't use them. And now you don't have the beauty there anymore. You're older, and now they just go get a younger version of you. So it's a lot of things that women end up hating about men, but you use them to get where you were at some point. And then once again, and I'm going to say it again, when you can't use them, and when now you're washed up and you're older version of yourself, and they go to a younger version, now you mad and you pissed, and now you mad because they don't want you. They're going to the younger women because now you can no longer use that anymore. Beauty fades, and you're not going to be 20 years old forever. So you got to understand that is fleeting. So this is why I would tell young women, that is not what you want to do. That is not where you want to go, because at the end of the day, you're going to be left by your lonesome. None of those men are going to deal with you anymore because you're washed up. You're done. So at the end of the day, you end up by yourself, still trying to pick up the pieces. That's the part they don't want to say. They don't want to say that part. You know what I'm saying? Ezel Kenny, thank you for the super chat, says, have you seen Ebony K. Williams since she had that baby through vitro infertilization? I have. She looks totally worn out. She does. I just was telling my husband that. I just told my husband that she looks different. That's all I said. Look, and I'm not bashing her, because people are like, oh, you're bashing. No, I have seen her. She does look different. But having children will do that to you. You know what I'm saying? Children will take a toll on your body. They do. I definitely seen her, and that's a part of motherhood. She does look different. I will agree with you. I'm saying, thank you for the super chat. You ain't lying. I just was telling my husband that. I just told him that she looks different. It will take a toll over you. So, I mean, and you ain't got a man and whatever. I don't know. It's real. Let's continue.
And their desires and their lack of ability to articulate that. I was having a conversation. I did a panel with 2 Chainz, because he has a movie that is based on his life. It's called Red Clay, a short film.
I'm publishing his book next year too. His book is called The Voice in My Head is God.
Yes. He told me.
It comes out next year.
He told me. And he's just such a great guy. So in the film, there's a really poignant, pivotal moment towards the end of the film where the protagonist and one of the other guys who's his best friend, they share a moment of intimacy where they're hugging. And it's because one of them has just lost his mom, and it's very tragic. But I was struck by the intimacy of that moment and the expression of intimacy. And I said to the crowd that the first act of violence that the patriarchy commits is not against women, it's against young boys, because it forces them to carve out parts of their humanity because it's seen as feminine. And it's almost like masculinity is not defined by what it means to be a man. It's almost like it's defined by what it means to not be a woman. All of the things that can be seen as feminine are villainized. So you can't acknowledge those parts of yourself. When any indigenous person will tell you that the divine is masculine and feminine, and acceptance of both. Those are the healthiest people. Those
are the ingredients that make us.
Exactly.
It's a man and a woman.
Exactly. So I feel like that's part of the problem that men experience later on in life, is just they have this innate, almost like primal desire to want to acknowledge the feminine parts of themselves that they tried to kill off so long ago because society said they had to. And they also understand, in order, like, if they could connect to those parts, they probably have an easier time truly connecting with women.
Okay, so that's the end of that. That's all I'm going to put in there. And I don't agree with that either. I think women have this desire to effeminize men. I think they don't want men to be the masculine creatures that they are. You don't want men to act in their natural order of things. You want to make them soft and make them more like you so that you can control them. That's what I think. I think that's the problem that we see when it comes to dating now. I think a lot of women want these soft men because they know that's the men that they can control. When a man has structure and he is a man and he's not going with this feminine mindset. Yes, we are a mixture of both, but men are more masculine than feminine. And as women, we supposed to be more feminine than masculine. We have a bit of it in us, but that's not the it shouldn't be the overarching part of you. You should be feminine as women, and men are masculine by nature. A lot of these women want men to be effeminate or feminized, make them more feminine. So that and then this is what, if this is what women are looking for, then why are they calling men sassy and saying that men are too feminine and men are not like they used to be? Why is that the case? I think that's a trap, and I think men realize that. And you should not be going off of a woman telling you need to be more in touch with your feminine side. We've been hearing that too for years. Men need to be more in touch with it. Why? This is why a lot of women like men that are GAY, because you want a man to act like that, but you don't want him to be your man. You want him so y'all can sit down and have tea together and talk about celebrity gossip together. You want a man that you can feel comfortable with doing those types of things. This is why a lot of women have their best gay friend, because you want a man to be like you. You want him to be like your good girlfriend. And men who are straight heterosexual men are not running around like your girlfriends. That's not in their nature. That's not who they are. They don't want to be you. And then while y'all are saying that, y'all still complaining about men who you saying sassy and feminine because he don't want to do what you want him to do. Y'all want simpish men because you know you can control them. A man who has his stuff, you're not going to control him. You're not going to tell him what to do. You're not gonna, it's just not gonna happen. And that's what women don't like. That's why they say, what is it? Masculine. What is the thing they try to shame men in being masculine? What's it called? Y'all? Masculine. What they call it? The thing where they try to shame men for being masculine. What is it? Because I can't think of it at all right now. What is it? Something they're challenging a man's masculinity, but they got a word for it where it's basically shaming men for being masculine. Because these men are not listening to y'all. There you go. Thank you. What is it? Plugger, the plumber. Thank you. Toxic masculinity. Yes. So you call it toxic for a reason, because you don't like a masculine man because he's not going to do what you want him to do. That's it. Women want when I tell y'all, women project their own issues onto men, y'all better believe it. I'm telling you, if you don't listen to nothing else I say, make sure you keep that in mind. When you listen to a woman talking, understand that a lot of the things that she's saying is a projection of herself, especially if she's talking a lot of BS about men. If she's always talking about men do this and because men do this, and if a man don't love his mother, he don't love you, and he this and that. A lot of them don't, and then just ask questions afterwards. After you let her talk, listen, let her talk, let her speak, let her cook. Let her cook her own grave, because she's gonna cook herself right into it. Listen to what she's saying, and then you have some questions. Don't interrupt her, let us get it out. And then turn around and ask her, okay, so if she's saying everything that she's saying, ask her a question counter to it. So, do you have a good relationship with your moms? Ask her in the most calm, polite way. And don't show no sign of attitude or nothing, because they get triggered. And listen to how everything that she's projecting onto a man, listen to her response. Do you have a good relationship with your moms? And if she's talking about a men don't like their mom, and you realize, no, they don't have a relationship with their mom. Ask her, all the things that she expecting and projecting onto me, and ask her them same questions, and you'll learn something. You'll learn a little something by doing that. I'm just saying, be just nice and calm about it, friendly about it. Just ask and just pay attention, and then let me know what happened. Because 9 times out of 10, you'll see a lot of the things that they're projecting are the things that they're dealing with. You'll see it. And so, and I think that's a problem. And I think that's something that women need to address and need to learn how not to do. Like, just Be honest about what you're going through. Stop projecting your own issues onto everybody else, because everybody don't have the same experiences. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I think a lot of what women say is a projection of their own feelings and their own experiences. And this is why when they meet a man, oh, men are this, men are that. When you meet a man who's the opposite of that, they look shocked. Like, wait a minute. You're nothing like what I thought or what I felt about men, because they realize they're wrong, but they'll never acknowledge it. They'll never let you know that. You know what I'm saying? But then they'll think something wrong with you because they already have this perception of what they think most men are like. And when you meet men who are not like that, they're going to try to make up something. Oh, well, something else ain't right. Something ain't wrong. Just like they think a man who doesn't have kids at 38, something wrong with him. Oh, he must be shooting for the other team. No, maybe maybe when he says, no, ma'am, I want to be married. I want to be married before I create a family. I want a wife. That's shocking to them because they grew up around Pookie and Ray Ray, and their mom was telling them, oh, men don't marry no women. Black men don't get married. Black men don't do this. Black men don't do that. And so they just already come into the situation with these preconceived notions about what a man is, a black man, because that's all they told these negative things about black men. A black man, he ain't gonna marry you. He don't want this. He don't want that. He don't take care of his kids. You see a man with his kids, taking his kids to the doctor's office, taking his kids, getting their hair cut and doing things with his kids. And then they looking sideways like, ooh. It's a dumb look on their face because they've been conditioned to believe something that they've never experienced or seen. And when they see the opposite of that, they don't know what to think of that. They're stuck. And some of them just keep on going with the narrative that, oh, well, that's just most of them don't do that. Ooh. No, most of the ones you around don't do it. But there's a whole nother group of men who actually do take care of their kids, and men who actually want wives, and men who actually would be, good fathers and good husbands. But just because you can't attract it and you never had it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. See, Irving says it's not healthy for a hetero man to be like a woman's best friend. Exactly. Iyanla Vanzant nailed it in a clip. No lies detected coming from you, DeeDee. Yeah, and I think once again, women just hate. They call it toxic masculinity because you hate to feel like a man is in control. You want to complain about him not being in control, but you also want him that way because you know you can control him. You see what I'm saying? Women complain about the very things they say they want. So you get a man. And they complain and don't want the things that they say they want. You want a man who's in control of his feminine nature and he can kumbaya with you and cry on the couch. But then that's the very thing you're going to go complain about to your girlfriend. Girl, he's sitting there crying like a bee. It's the very thing you're going to go complain about. But you can have control over him because you can control his emotions and get what you want out of it. But it's not something that you really want. But then when you get a man who's in control of his emotions and he's not going to let you get away with anything and he's stern on what he wants, he's not going to let you, then you complain, now it's toxic masculinity. So you don't know what they want. They don't know what they want. Thank you, C. Irvin. Frederick Howard, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you for the support. So yeah, it's just, it's never, you can't please these types of women because they don't know what they want, and what they want changes. So it changes and you have to be the type of man. What's going on, Kennard, the DJ? What's going on? How? Thank you so much for being here. So you want to control, you want the man that you want, and you want to have control and authority over him. Tell him where to go, what to do, who to talk to, this and that. And if he allows you to do that, if he allows you to take control over him and rest in his femininity as they want you to do, they still gonna find a way to have a problem with that. So should men be doing that? Hell no. You shouldn't allow a woman to control you and tell you what to do and do all this because it's still not gonna benefit you. Because deep down, she wants a man who gonna tell her what to do. You ever seen these women talk about this? I need a man to tell me what to do. Jill Scott says something like that. I don't want a man to tell me what to do, but then she said, "Oh, but you can't. But you can't tell me some shit." She was saying, "I'll tell me what to do, but you can tell me what to do. If you could tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do." Some she was saying. It's a confusing thing because women are confusing a lot of times. A lot of times we don't know what we want. So you need somebody. You need a little guidance. you know, and so I don't know. I just think this toxic masculinity is ridiculous. These, you know, wanting a man to be feminine, to explore his feminine side is ridiculous. It's just a way to control men. Again, once again, the very thing women complain about is control. You don't want a man to control you, but you want to control him. Once again, it's a projection. Charlemagne said it in the video clip. You know, what did he say? Something he said, I forgot already, but he basically alluded to it. You know, you it's a projection. He talked about projection, and I say it all the time. They're projecting things onto men that of what they are, and they don't like it because a lot of times they don't understand it. They don't like themselves. They don't understand a lot of things. But instead of saying, hey, I don't understand men and your nature and why you think like this and having a conversation about it, they automatically assume things and they run with it. And then when they see something outside of that, they're confused about it. Well, hey, why is he like that? Why he act like this? And most men don't know, because you don't really know most men. You don't know how most men think. You just assuming based off of what somebody told you, and you just ran with that. And you know what they say, when you assume things, you make an ass out of yourself, because you can't just lump and group every man into one category and think this is how they all think, when a lot of them don't think the same. So you end up getting the short end of the stick because you don't realize men and you don't have a conversation with them. Everything women have learned about men for the most part comes from a woman. Women are the ones who are telling us, oh, men don't, if they don't like your mama, they can't love you. And men will do this. And men don't like, and men are jealous. I've been hearing that my whole life. Men are jealous of women, and men are this, and they're insecure, and they'll beat you and knock your head between the washer and the dryer, and they'll do this and they'll do that. So they've already like poison us to think horribly about most men. We already come out thinking, oh, well, if he act like this, oh, he gonna do this and he gonna do that. So you already got your, you know, your guard up. You already got your fists up thinking like, wait a minute, I got to protect myself from him because this is what he's capable of. Oh my God, he's a demon in disguise. You know what I mean? He's waiting to come and bash my head between the wash and the dry. So you already thinking that. So when you think that way, without ever having that experience from anyone, you build it up in your head. You really build it up in your head, and you start, you already have this in your mind. So any little thing that he messes up or any mistake that he makes, you are ready to pounce, because you've already been ingrained with the idea that he's going to mess up, that he's going to make that this is what a part of his nature. This is what he's going to do. So any mistake he makes, oh my God, cancel Christmas. He got to go, because now he's showing the signs that you was already previously told about. So now you make it real. And a lot of women do things to bring it out because they expect it. And so you ruin a relationship based off of preconceived notions that you've never experienced, that somebody told you was going to happen. So you're expecting it to happen. So when it happens, oh my God, there it is. I got to get out of this relationship. And you walk away not realizing that you created the narrative that was told to you, that this is not really who that man is. You just took one thing and blew it out of proportion, and you walked away, thought, see, this is what they're going to do, so I can't trust them. And then you keep doing that without ever realizing it, and then you 40, 50 years old by yourself. It's crazy, but it's true. Successful MD, thank you for the super chat, says, in my experience, when you have your life together, women try to find a reason to discredit you because they chose pookies and bums in their prime. Exactly. It's a real thing, Successful MD. It really is. I've seen multiple people do it. It's like you ruin relationships off of that. Think off of that mentality, off of that mindset, because you've never experienced a good man or a good relationship. And a lot of times they haven't experienced a bad relationship or a bad man. It's just your mothers and your grandmothers told you, yeah, they sat around and told you this is what they'll do. You better be careful. You know, they put the fear in you and make you think that this is just what men go do generally. And when a man doesn't do that, you wondering, you're like, wait a minute. So you create a scenario, you create something that will cause him to get mad or whatever. And then you assume, oh my God, there it is. And then you walk away. Thank you, Successful MD. So yeah, it's just a crazy thing, y'all. And you know, once again, and I'm gonna end with this, I'm gonna wrap this up. A lot of these women are batshit crazy. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
a lot of these women have hit the wall. They've wasted opportunities. They thought they had a lot of time when they really didn't. And now they're just trying to make excuses for where they are. That's the bottom line. And no, aha moments and powerful this and powerful messaging and all that is BS. No, the bottom line is, and the truth is, they just wasted opportunities. They focused on their careers and they did what they thought they needed to do to become successful. And now they have some level of success. Some of them aren't even happy with that because they didn't get what they thought they were going to get. A lot of these actresses who are single and older now didn't really get what they thought they would get. And when I think of that, the person that comes to mind to me is Tracee Ellis Ross. I don't believe that Tracee Ellis Ross has attained the level of success that she thought she would or could have. I don't think she's quite made it to the level that she thought she would. I think she's had some successful TV shows and some things of that nature, but I don't think she's become the super successful actress that she probably thought she or wanted to be. And on top of that, she hasn't created a family life she hasn't been successful in relationships or anything like that. And I don't think she's reached her full potential when it comes to what she thought she would have accomplished by this age in her career. So I think some of these women still are looking to accomplish a level of success that they may not ever that they never might attain. You know what I mean? She is not on Julia Roberts standards or, some more super successful actresses. I think they still are looking for that. And that's another thing that they have to come to grips with, that you might not ever get that level of success. Yeah, you've been successful and that's great. But that's something that they have to accept as well, that you may not ever get that career that you thought you were going to get. And on top of that, you still don't have a family. You don't have nothing else to show for your life here, which I'm not discrediting your life, because life is life. As long as you're alive, you have opportunities and you should and live your best life and be happy. But I think it's something that they have to recognize, something that they have to come to grips with, that, damn, I didn't really get all that I thought I would get out of this. And, I put so much in, but I really didn't get as much out. And am I okay with this? They have to come to reality and terms with that and be okay with that, because I think when you're young, you have all these ideas and these aspirations of what you want to become, where you want to be in your life and by this age. And, for some people, it's like, by 30, I want to be married with kids and I want my career to, by this age, I want this career, I want that. And then when it doesn't happen, and then it doesn't seem like it's going to happen, that's something that you have to come to terms with. That's it. And this is why I say some women can accept it and be okay with it. And then others, they have issues with that. And, it is what it is. It's just the reality of life. And you don't have to be bitter and scorn and blame people. And I can respect people who understand, look, life is not going to always give you what you think you should get out of it. But you got to come to some type of understanding and acceptance to say, you know what? It's fine. I'm happy with where I am and I'm living my life. And kudos to people who think that way. But when I see people who are angry and bitter and trying to blame folks, that lets me know that they have not come to terms with the outcomes of their actions. They are not really satisfied or comfortable with where they are when you're still trying, you're 50 years old, still trying to blame people for your outcome in life. That's how I know these people aren't healed and you have not come to terms with the choices that you made in life and the outcomes that you've received because of it, because they're bitter and they're still blaming somebody. When you are truly healed and you're truly accepting of where you ended up based on your choices, you don't blame other people. You look at it and you say, hey, I have no regrets and I accept, where I am and I'm happy to be here. And yeah, there's some things I could have changed or tweaked or whatever, but I didn't do it. So look, I got what I got and I'm happy to be here and I'm just going to live my life in peace. There's a way that you respond to let people know where you are mentally. And I've seen a lot of people who are truly in an acceptance reality of their outcomes because they say it and they move on with grace and they accept, hey, I'm alive, I'm living and I'm good. But when you're out here still saying, I'm tired of hearing this from this and these people got these and why y'all want me to do this, and we talked about Leslie Jones the other day, where she's tired of men telling her she's too masculine and she speaks so aggressively like she's mad about it because you don't want to make those changes and you don't feel that you have to. So you're grappling with that idea because you are still in a place of denial, thinking that, oh, what I've done is sufficient, but you don't have the sufficient outcomes. And this is where those particular people, in my opinion now, they're not truly happy with their outcomes. This is why they're still complaining about it and blaming others about it. That's just my take on it. That's just how I see it. Success Remedy says, even fame and money can't defeat reality. Exactly. Because you got to live with you every single day. You create your reality. And if you're not getting what you want out of it, yeah, a lot of times they're bitter. Thank you, Successful MD. I appreciate you. So, that's something that you have to work on. You have to work on it. You have to realize what you need to do to get yourself to that place. And if it's therapy, if it's talking about it, being accountable and realistic is part of the way of helping that. Because being in denial and being delusional does not help you with that. It just keep you in that place of being unacceptable of your path in life, the choices you made and the outcomes associated with it. And I think far too often people are making choices, but they're trying to control the outcome. You can't do that. You can't control the outcome associated with your choices. Like if you go steal something out of a store and you get arrested, well, you can't control that outcome of you getting arrested because you stole something. They had you on camera. They called the police. And then guess what? They take you to jail. Can you decide, oh, I don't want to go to jail. I chose to steal, but I don't want to go to jail. And if you pay attention to these cam videos, which I'll be reacting to some of those as well, so make sure you guys support that. I'll be reacting to a lot of these cam videos of these entitled women as well, because I find them very interesting. So make sure you guys watch those videos as well. But the thing about it is you see women who choose to go out and steal, and then when they get arrested, they're saying this is not fair. That shows you the mental state right there. It's not fair. It's that you chose to steal something you know is illegal. And you're saying it's unfair because they caught you and arrested you for a crime that you committed. That shows you that something is warped in the brain. Oh, well, you could just let me go. No, you can't control that narrative. And when they try to tell the police, hey, can you let me go? And the police say, no, you can't. You're going to jail. Then what happens? They start crashing out. They start crashing out and getting loud and cussing and spitting and doing all kinds of stuff. Because why? That inner selfish mindset that you've adopted can't allow you to accept or fathom the idea that you were wrong. And there's a consequence for your wrong. They don't understand consequence. They don't understand wrong because they've been made to believe, oh, I could do whatever I want as a Black woman. I can do whatever I want and nobody ain't going to check me. And then when you get checked, it's like, are you serious? Listen, pay attention. When I posted, well, are you serious? It's the first thing. Are you serious? Are you serious? Is this real? That shows you there's a mental warped brain there. Mentally warped. That's what they say. Because my jaw just be agape. Like, what the hell? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you saying asking, are you serious? Is just mind boggling to me. Are you serious that you decide to go steal something you know is an illegal activity, and then because they saw you on camera and they caught you and they're arresting you for a crime, you're asking the police, are they serious and can they let you go? Oh my God. And if that ain't something wrong mentally, I don't know what is. That shows you a delusional, entitled mindset that has to change. As opposed to you decide, I'm gonna go try to steal something out here, and you attempt to do it and you get caught. The best thing you would say, damn, they caught me. All right. Hands behind my back, officer. All right, you got me. I decided to steal. I know it's wrong. So I got to pay the consequence. Who's doing that? Most people ain't doing that. They're going to try to lie and talk their way out of it and try to convince you that you're wrong for not holding them accountable for their wrong. This is how a lot of women think. And this is why I say batshit crazy, because it is. The idea for you to go commit a crime and think that you're not wrong in this and that he's wrong for arresting you, doing his job, for something and then to say, oh, I have money. I got money. I'm going to post that one. This one, she's like, I got money I could pay for. Well, why didn't you just do that? It's an entitlement. And it's a delusional mindset that's causing these women to think like that and move accordingly. So if that's crazy to me. And I find it crazy. Every time I see these, I'm just like shaking my head. Like, come on, nothing's wrong with these women. Come on now. Y'all got to do better. Right. I didn't do nothing is another one. Yeah, I didn't do you. Yeah. Oh my God, yes, I'm pregnant. Right. It's easier just to work and not steal. I mean, it's yeah, some of them always say they're pregnant. They do say they didn't do anything when they ended like, ma'am, we got you on camera, ma'am. You think the camera is lying? I'm just saying. The recording of you is lying. Like it's just, yeah, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Exactly. I love watching them because it shows you that there's a mental issue going on. There's an entitlement that needs to be changed. And so think about being in a relationship with the person who thinks like that. Think about being in a relationship. They're going to always be right no matter how wrong they are. You as the man is always going to be the villain no matter how right you are. Who wants to be in that dynamic? I don't think most people want to be that way. So when I tell you these women need to change, I'm not bullshitting. They have to change. And if they don't want to, well, it's just going to be a sight for sore eyes. Nobody's going to want to deal with them. And that's what we're seeing, because I know I wouldn't want my sons dealing with some combative woman who could never take accountability and don't know, don't want to accept when they're wrong. And then they turn around and say, you're the problem. Like, nah, that's not cool. And that's unacceptable. So yes, these women need to be held accountable. They need to be told what's right from wrong. They need to be shown that if you do something that's wrong, there's consequences, baby, that you're not always right. If you do something that's good and there's a good result, great. But you got to also understand, like you got to talk to them like you're talking to a 2-year-old. That's not right. If you do that, you're going to get a tap. You got to literally tell these women, hey, if you make this choice, there's consequences, right? You're going to go to jail. But they'd be sitting there really believing that what is happening is wrong on the other end and what they're doing is right. So it's just a hot mess. So me and my wife be watching MABW, dying laughing at the Keisha episodes. Exactly. He's funny to me. Stealing seafood boils. Who doing that? What? It's not worth it. Those are narcissists and avoidance tactics. Exactly. So listen, I'm going to wrap it up, you guys. Thank y'all so much for being here once again. I appreciate y'all for the support, for the love, for supporting the channel, for watching. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you guys turn on that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content, y'all. Make sure you are watching the videos that are already posted on the channel. Go over and put a like. Let me know it's real. Leave a comment if you can, and share them if you can. That would definitely help the channel out. All right. So make sure you are continuously doing that, y'all. I'll continuously try to come up here and give y'all, some Bonnet Crew. What is it? Bonnet Crew Society of the Sisterhood Traveling Pants. I will definitely continue to try to keep you posted on the foolishness that's going on, y'all, because honestly, hopefully somebody can learn from these videos. But at this point, y'all, it's entertainment, to be honest with you. I'm just being honest. It's entertainment purposes. But there's a lot of truth in a lot of this. So if women are watching, look, it's not about bashing. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not a mean person. I just want the truth to be out there. And the only way that you can learn and grow is by hearing some truth, even if it's hurtful to hear. But you can only learn by the truth and changing your behavior. If you keep doing the same things that's not working for you, it's just not going to work. And you got to start taking some accountability. It's not all on men to make the changes, but we all got to make changes. That means women and men. Men aren't the problem for everything. It's okay to be accountable for your actions and learn, because the more you just stay in that place of being unaccountable, it's not going to help you to grow. And men are woke to the nature of women and how y'all are moving. This is why they're trying to move elsewhere. It's not that men hate all Black women. I think men just hate the behavior. They hate the actions because y'all are not learning from it. And it's not all, but a lot of them that are. Men just don't like the mentality. So, and if we can come together and start to hear each other out and stop making it a hostile environment and accepting your nature and accepting the nature of men and understanding the differences between the two, because it is a difference. Men and women are not the same. And I think we can come together. And if you don't want to do that, well, just be happy by yourself, but stop blaming it all on men, because y'all have a lot to do with it too. Women have a lot to do with the divisiveness that's happening between men and women. You got to be accountable for that. Y'all know it's true, but a lot of you don't want to accept it. So if y'all can accept that, hey, there's no, it's not a bad thing to be accountable and acceptable. It's a good thing. So look at it as a good thing, not a bad thing. And then maybe we can get somewhere. But until then, it's going to always be a problem. I'm just saying. So thank y'all once again. Y'all be safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening, you guys. I hope you all have a great weekend. Who knows? I might be back up here with another little 2 cents of mine, but make sure you have that notification bell turned on so that you'll at least be notified when I go live or post new content. All right. So make sure you guys are doing that. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks to everybody. Shout out to everybody who gave super chats or cash apps, and shout out to everybody who hit the like button, and shout out to everybody who's in the building today. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your evening. Y'all be safe out here, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye. Mwah. See y'all later.